The Sterling Opera House in Derby, Connecticut, has a rich history and a reputation for the supernatural. Opened in 1889, it originally accommodated 1,200 patrons, showcasing its grandeur and cultural significance. The building's Italianate Victorian architecture, once admired for its beauty, now contributes to its eerie atmosphere, especially in its current state of disrepair. Reports of ghostly encounters, particularly voices of children and shadowy figures, have drawn the attention of paranormal enthusiasts. The venue's appearance on Ghost Hunters further solidified its status as a hotspot for ghostly activity, with investigators capturing intriguing electronic voice phenomena during their exploration. Whether a fan of history, architecture, or the paranormal, the Sterling Opera House offers a fascinating glimpse into the past and the mysteries that may linger within its walls. As twilight settled over Derby, the shadows lengthened around the Sterling Opera House. A chill hung in the air, and the creaking of old wood echoed through the empty halls. The local townsfolk often shared tales of the theater's past, recalling evenings filled with laughter and applause, now replaced by an unsettling silence. One evening, a small group of curious adventurers decided to investigate the rumors. Armed with flashlights and a spirit box, they stepped inside, the heavy doors groaning in protest. The moment they crossed the threshold, an electric charge seemed to fill the air. Dust motes danced in the beams of their flashlights, casting eerie patterns against the faded velvet curtains. As they ventured deeper, they found themselves in the Grand Theater, where the once vibrant stage now lay shrouded in darkness. They took their seats, the plush upholstery long since worn away. Whispers of the past seemed to swirl around them, and as they settled in, a sudden cold draft rushed past, causing their breath to hitch. "Did you hear that?" one of them whispered, eyes wide. The spirit box crackled to life, static filling the air before a childlike voice emerged, faint but unmistakable. "Play with us?" A shiver ran down their spines, but curiosity compelled them to continue. They exchanged nervous glances, a mix of fear and excitement propelling them forward. As they explored backstage, they stumbled upon old props and costumes, remnants of performances long forgotten. The air was thick with the scent of decay and something sweet and nostalgic. Suddenly, a soft giggle echoed from the shadows. They froze, hearts pounding. "Who's there?" one of them called out, attempting to mask the tremor in their voice. The only response was silence, heavy and oppressive. Feeling emboldened, they pressed on, drawn to a small door marked private. It creaked open, revealing a dimly lit corridor lined with old photographs of past performances. The walls seemed to breathe, and the temperature dropped further as they stepped inside. Then, from the corner of their eyes, they glimpsed movement, a fleeting figure darting past. "Did you see that?" another voice gasped. They turned, chasing the silhouette deeper into the corridor, their flashlights flickering nervously. As they rounded a corner, they found themselves in what appeared to be the dressing rooms. Mirrors lined the walls, some cracked and dusty, but in one something caught their eye. A fleeting reflection, a child in period clothing, grinning mischievously. Just as they blinked in disbelief, the figure vanished. In that moment, a soft melody began to play, echoing through the halls, a haunting lullaby that seemed to wrap around them like a fog. The child's voice returned, clearer now, "Stay with us." The group hesitated, caught between the allure of the music and the instinct to flee. But before they could decide, the lights flickered violently, plunging them into darkness. The air grew thick, and they could hear whispers all around them, growing louder, a cacophony of voices from the past urging them to stay. Terror and intrigue tangled in their minds as they realized they weren't just observers, they were part of something far more profound than they could have imagined. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story. In the suffocating darkness, the whispers twisted around them, a chorus of laughter and distant applause mingling with the child's sweet voice. Panic set in as the reality of their situation hit. They had come to explore, but now they were ensnared in the very fabric of the theater's haunting past. "Turn on the lights," one of them shouted, fumbling with the flashlight as it flickered ominously. Just as the beam steadied, A figure appeared at the far end of the corridor, a young girl in a frilly dress, her hair cascading over her shoulders. She stood still, gazing at them with wide, innocent eyes. "Why are you here?" she asked, her voice echoing in the silence. We wanted to explore," one of the adventurers stammered, heart racing. "We didn't mean any harm." The girl's expression shifted, a flicker of sadness crossing her face. "But you're not supposed to leave. They don't want you to go." Before anyone could respond, the atmosphere in the room changed. The walls seemed to pulse, and the air thickened with an oppressive weight. They could feel the pull of something unseen, a presence that hovered just beyond their comprehension. "Stay with us," the voices grew louder, an eerie melody swirling around them. "Stay and play." The girl took a tentative step forward, her gaze unwavering. "It's lonely here. We just want to have fun." Another adventurer, fueled by a mix of bravery and recklessness, took a step closer to the girl. "What happened to you?" She tilted her head, the faintest hint of a smile playing on her lips. "We were waiting for someone to help us." The show never ended. A heavy silence fell. The weight of their history hung in the air, a sorrow that seeped into their bones. They exchanged glances, a silent agreement forming. Could they truly leave this place behind? What if it was a trap, a lure meant to ensnare them in the theater's eternal performance? Suddenly, the lights flickered back to life, illuminating the corridor in harsh fluorescence. The change was jarring, and the child's figure wavered, momentarily glitching like a bad film reel. The adventurers gasped, and in that split second, they realized they weren't just dealing with echoes of the past, they were facing something far more complex, a blend of memory and emotion. "Please don't go," the girl pleaded, her voice small. "You're different. You can help us." "What do you need?" one of them asked, compelled by her desperation. The girl's eyes sparkled with hope. "You have to finish the show. Make it real again. Then we can play." As the weight of her words sank in, a realization dawned on them. They had stumbled upon a fractured world, a realm where dreams and memories clashed. If they were to escape, they would need to engage with the very spirits that lingered here, those who longed for the applause, the laughter, the thrill of the stage. "All right," the bravest of the group said, his voice steady despite the fear that churned in his stomach. "We'll help you. We'll put on a show." The girl's face lit up with delight, but as she took a step closer, the atmosphere shifted again. The air crackled with energy, and the whispers intensified, a chorus of encouragement and uncertainty. "Then you must hurry. The curtain is waiting," she urged, her eyes shining with anticipation. With a renewed sense of purpose, they turned to the dusty props and costumes surrounding them, a rush of adrenaline coursing through their veins. They were not just explorers anymore. They were about to become part of the story, a performance that transcended time itself. As they gathered the remnants of past productions, the very essence of the Sterling Opera House seemed to awaken around them, an unseen audience holding its breath. What would unfold next was a blend of their reality and the theater's lingering spirit, an act that could either free them or bind them forever to this haunted stage. With each piece of costume they unearthed, the energy in the room intensified. The group began to organize the remnants of previous performances: a tattered red curtain, a forgotten top hat, a sequin dress that shimmered even in the dim light. Each item seemed to resonate with memories, pulling them deeper into the theater's narrative. "Quick, we need a script," one of them exclaimed, rummaging through a dusty chest. Their fingers brushed against old playbills and scripts, yellowed with age. They held up a faded script titled The Enchanted Dream, a once popular production that told the story of children trapped in a mystical world. "This is perfect," another declared, excitement bubbling in their voice. "It's about them." As they spread the script across a nearby table, the girl clapped her hands, a bright smile illuminating her face. "Yes, we can show you what to do. Just follow our lead." Nervous laughter rippled through the group, the weight of their task dawning on them. They were about to reenact a story intertwined with the spirits of the theater. The thrill of the unknown mingled with an undercurrent of fear. "Let's start with the opening scene," the girl instructed, her eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. We need to set the stage. As they arranged the props, the air thickened with anticipation. Shadows danced along the walls, and the whispers transformed into a rhythmic heartbeat, as if the very theater was alive, eager to witness the revival of its forgotten performance. They took their places, their hearts racing as they prepared to begin. The girl stepped into the spotlight, her presence illuminating the stage like a beacon. "Welcome, dear audience," she declared, her voice echoing in the vast space. "Tonight, we tell a story of magic and friendship." With a nod from the group, they followed her lead, diving into the script. Lines flowed naturally as they embraced their roles, the lines blurring between actor and spectator. Laughter and joy filled the air, intertwining with the whispers that grew more animated with each passing moment. The girl guided them through the scenes, and as they acted, something remarkable happened. The theater around them transformed, colors blooming as if a forgotten dream was being painted back into existence. The seats filled with ghostly figures, faces from the past, their expressions a mix of delight and longing. "Look," one of the adventurers gasped, pointing to the audience. "They're here." The presence of the spirits infused them with energy. The lines became more fluid, their movements more vibrant. They felt a connection to the past, a shared experience that transcended time and space. But amidst the joy, a flicker of doubt crept in. What if this performance wasn't enough? What if the spirits needed something more to be freed? As the final act approached, uncertainty settled like a heavy fog in their hearts. Will this really set them free? One of them whispered, glancing at the girl, whose smile faltered for a moment. "We need to make it special," she replied softly. "They need to feel the joy of the stage one last time. That's the only way." As they prepared for the climax of the play, the atmosphere shifted again, the whispers growing louder, almost demanding. The adventurers exchanged glances, their earlier excitement tinged with trepidation. They knew they were teetering on the brink of something monumental. The final scene unfolded, a crescendo of emotion. The characters united in a climactic dance, calling forth the magic of the theater, channeling their fears and hopes into the performance. The shadows swirled, the audience of spirits leaning in, their faces rapt with attention. But just as the dance reached its peak, the lights flickered violently again, casting the stage into chaos. A deep rumble echoed from the walls, shaking the very foundation of the building. The spirits' whispers turned frantic, a wave of urgency sweeping through the room. "Finish it," they cried, voices rising in a haunting harmony. "You must finish." With adrenaline coursing through their veins, the adventurers pushed forward, pouring everything they had into the last lines of the play. They had to believe that this was enough, that their performance would bridge the gap between the living and the lost. As they delivered the final lines, the energy in the room surged, a brilliant light enveloping the stage. The girl's eyes shone with a mixture of joy and sadness. "Thank you," she whispered, her voice barely audible above the roar of the energy swirling around them. But just as they thought they had succeeded, the ground beneath them trembled violently, a crack forming in the stage floor. The whispers grew chaotic, an urgent plea that reverberated through their bones. And then, in that moment of chaos, they realized they weren't just performing to appease the spirits. They were fighting for their own freedom, a chance to escape the theater's grasp and return to the world outside. As the ground quaked beneath their feet, a rush of panic surged through the group. The lights flickered erratically, casting distorted shadows across the stage, and the whispers turned into a cacophony of voices, a tempest of emotions clamoring for attention. "Hold on," the bravest adventurer shouted, trying to rally the group. "We can't stop now. We have to finish what we started." The girl's eyes widened, and she stepped closer, urgency etched on her face. "You have to believe. You have to finish the story." They clutched the edges of the script, their hands trembling. In that moment, they realized that the performance wasn't merely about the spirits, it was also a reflection of their own fears and desires. To succeed, they had to confront not only the ghosts of the theater, but also the shadows lurking within themselves. As the stage trembled, they took a deep breath and prepared for the climactic moment. The scene depicted a triumphant escape from the enchanted realm, a celebration of friendship and unity. They stepped forward, channeling every ounce of their strength into the performance. Together, we can break the curse, one adventurer proclaimed, his voice ringing with conviction. They moved in sync, their choreography uniting them in a bond that felt almost tangible, as if the very essence of the theater was weaving them together. The whispers swelled, resonating with their words, and the air vibrated with anticipation. But just as they approached the final lines, a powerful wave surged through the theater, sending them sprawling to the ground. The crack in the stage widened, a dark void threatening to swallow them whole. "Keep going," someone urged, scrambling to their feet. "We're almost there." With determination etched on their faces, they surged forward, rallying around the script as the energy pulsated around them. They spoke the final lines in unison, their voices rising above the chaos. "We break the bonds of the past. We step into the light." Together, in that instant, a blinding light enveloped them, washing over the stage and banishing the shadows. The air crackled with energy, and the spirits around them surged forward, drawn to the brilliance of their performance. The theater's walls shimmered, as if the very structure was coming alive in response to their words. As the light intensified, the girl smiled, her form becoming more ethereal, almost translucent. "Thank you for believing," she said, her voice a gentle whisper amidst the roar of energy. "You've set us free." But just then, a chilling realization gripped the adventurers. While the spirits were being released, the portal between worlds was unstable. They could feel the pull of the darkness, the void threatening to consume them if they didn't act quickly. "Grab hands," someone shouted, instinctively reaching for the others. They formed a tight circle, their fingers interlocking as the light enveloped them. "We have to ground ourselves, focus on the outside world." Drawing on every memory of laughter, warmth, and sunlight, they concentrated on the life waiting beyond the theater's walls. The flicker of a friend's smile, the sound of leaves rustling in a gentle breeze, the taste of sweet summer air, all these images flooded their minds, strengthening their bond. As the spirits swirled around them, their voices harmonized into a beautiful melody, urging them onward. "You can do it." Together, with one last surge of energy, they called out in unison, "We choose to live." The light exploded, a radiant wave that washed over the theater. For a moment, time seemed to suspend, the past and present merging in a brilliant display of colors. The world blurred, and the adventurers felt themselves being pulled toward the light, the warmth enveloping them like a protective cocoon. And just as suddenly as it had begun, the chaos ceased. The theater stood still, the echoes of the past fading into a gentle silence. The adventurers opened their eyes, finding themselves back outside the sterling opera house, the moonlight illuminating the once ominous structure. Breathless, they looked at one another, disbelief mingling with relief. Did we really do it?" someone whispered, the reality of their experience settling in. But as they took a step away from the theater, a familiar giggle floated through the air. They turned to see the girl standing at the threshold, her smile radiant and free. "Thank you," she said softly. "You've given us a chance to dance again." And with that, she vanished into the night, leaving behind a lingering warmth that filled the air. The adventurers stood in silence, each processing the enormity of what had just occurred. Though they had returned to the world outside, the bond they had forged within the theater remained. As they walked away from the Sterling Opera House, they knew that part of them would always linger in that haunted place, forever connected to the stories and spirits that danced in the shadows. But as they reached the end of the street, one of them paused, looking back at the old building. The windows glimmered faintly, a reminder that the past would always be a part of them. And deep down, they understood that their adventure was far from over. The echoes of the theater would continue to resonate, inviting them to return to explore, to uncover, and to remember. As the group stood at the end of the street, the Sterling Opera House loomed behind them, a monument to the mysteries they had uncovered. Each of them felt a stirring within, a connection to the spirits they had freed and the memories they had shared. "I think we need to come back," one of them suggested, eyes glinting with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "There's still so much to explore." The others nodded in agreement, a newfound sense of purpose igniting their spirits. They had entered the theater as mere adventurers, but they had emerged as storytellers, bearers of the past's forgotten tales. As they turned to leave, a soft breeze carried the faint sound of laughter, and for a brief moment, they felt the warmth of the girl's presence beside them. They knew that the theater would always be a part of them, a place where stories and spirits intertwined, waiting for the next chapter to unfold. With hearts full of possibility, they walked away from the opera house, ready to embrace whatever adventures awaited them, knowing they would return to the magic of the Sterling Opera House, where the past and present danced eternally. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you liked this story.